G'day everyone, this is Nick from Electric Wheels Australia, aka Perth Electric Scooter Repairs, and I've got here a Makuta 9, and it is quite a nicely designed scooter, well built. I haven't ridden one, this is a fairly new model, so I haven't seen any go through a year or two of service as yet. But there's a few things I do like it, but there's a few things I don't like about it. One thing is that there's a removable battery, but the problem is with this one, you've got to have power turned on, be able to get to your P settings, P1 in particular, change the settings in there, and then it'll electrically allow you it'll release the battery so you can pull it out. To me, that is a stupid design. Because like in this case, this controller had failed, and luckily, after doing the diode test on the three-phase, that found one of the three phases had faulty. But then, even with that, the output of the voltage, battery voltage from here up the stem, obviously wasn't working either. So this is gone entirely. There's the replacement hooked up, and everything's working again. But the issue to me is, when you've got no power, you've got to rely on whether it is, being able to test and determine if it is the controller, or whether it's the cabling, the connecting, the cabling, or the switch on the up on the handlebar, or even the display. Because this one has both. It's got the, I don't know if you can see it there, but it's got both. It's got a display on, off, and also a switch. So yeah, anyway, so I don't like that concept. I like on the Kixon HX9 or the Mirth, I think it's the RS Pro, I think it is, can't remember, where they've got little wing nut type things and you can undo and lift out the battery. I mean, if it's an important thing to you, that would be ideal. You can unscrew it, because it's not going to be an issue, but this is going to be a definite issue if you are out and about. But anyway, I do like this idea. It's a little bit interesting to say, that a different way of approaching adjusting your suspension, but it works, so now one other thing is about this is that the main cable that runs up the stem, okay, is they meet at this point here on the stem. All right, what it does is the cable for this goes through a hole inside there, up underneath, comes out, and then it joins up onto the stem signal cable. All right, now to me that is a silly design, because what they should have done was have this cable coming out of the stem, going all the way down into the hole here, okay, going underneath, come out through a hole inside there, and then have that silver connector, this one here, inside there, and you can unscrew it just like you can do with these fellas here. Now, another problem is that with this front wheel, that if you turn it that way, you can get to the top screw up there, which is a Phillips screw. Because you need to undo all of these to remove the cable. But on this side it's a bit tricky, so this is in the way, so you have to use like that black handled one, a short one, to loosen that one. You don't remove it enough to swing this plate around. Then you've got the other two there, which are using M4, I think, M3 or M4 screws with a hex head, to remove those as well. But with this also, the problem here is that the cables go through a grommet, but then there's elastic as well. So let's say, for example, okay, this time around it's a warranty job, fine. But in the future, if you have to do it yourself, you've got to rely on that you know that what you're doing is correct. If you change out the controller and then it still doesn't work, then it might be the switch up on the handlebar, or who knows, or it could be the signal cable, for all we know. This is a silly design. What they should have had that cable running all the way through, and that way then you wouldn't have to piss fart ass around with the grommet and the elastic until that once you've done that job of replacing this controller, then down the track you find that there's something wrong with the scooter and you need to swap out any of the cables there, which is the brake cable or the and it's hydraulic too, by the way, or the other little cable associated with the switches on the handlebar. So to me, this as a point, the controller in the electronic side of things of repairs, particularly warranty, I'm not talking about tyres, okay, the controller is 9 times out of 10 the fault of the failure, okay. It's very rare to be anything else. And that's the reason why I think that they made the mistake of not extending the stem cable, signal cable, to go through that hole underneath and then come out through there, and then we join them together there. That's something they should have done. One thing I do like about this scooter, I mean, it's a nice design, don't get me wrong, and I love the fact that they've got the light at the top there. Okay, that is to me a critical point, but also this style of clamp is my favourite style of clamp. The only problem is I can't remember if it's the Zero or the V set, one of the two anyway, where they've got an extra little setup here with a little bolt, spring load and bullshit going on here. No, you don't need to. It's just not necessary. So this kind of caper I do like anyway. Now, whilst I'm here, just quickly, if you do have a hydraulic system and you do need to change out the tyre, this is the other thing, is that one thing I don't like is non-split rim, okay, motors. Split rim is the way to go. I don't care what anyone says. If you're out and about and you've got a backpack and you need to change out an inner tube, okay, assuming you've got inner tubes and not tubeless. If you've got tubeless, then you're a wally. But the tubed ones, you can split the motor in half, just open it up, put the inner tube in, clamp it back, bolt it back together again, and Bob's your uncle, you're off again. The others, you cannot do that. Especially if people will turn around and say, I can do that with the tubeless and stuff. I have a spare tyre. Yeah, but they're a bugger to put those tyres back on. At least with these ones, you know, not this one in particular, but the split rim, you can undo those bolts, which are usually like an M5 or M6 or something like that, and you've got the proper tool for that. Then you may have like a 18mm socket to undo that, and you make sure that when you do work on your motors and you drop down your motor, do take photographs of where the washers are, because they are critical in positioning that motor relative to, say, the caliper. And when you do wish to remove them, all right, and then you want to go put it back on again, when you go to removing the, I'll get the light again, it's a bit dark, isn't it? When you go to removing the caliper, do not undo the adjustment bolts on the top there, that one and that one. No. It's the reason is because they're slotted, all right, and there's a pain to adjust it. You undo those, you've just got a straight hole through the frame, and then you unbolt them, pull it out of the way, move your tyre out, change your tyre, and then when you put the wheel back on, you can put it on easily without trying to jam it in between the two pads. And then once you've got your wheel on up fully, all right, and bolted, then you put your caliper back on, and you'll be good as gold, okay? And of course, just another one, just a quickie, on this Makuta 9, or any scooter that's got hydraulic, and do not use brake fluid, all right? Do not use brake fluid, use hydraulic oil. Go to a bicycle shop and ask for hydraulic oil, all right? This stuff, I'll show you. Where are we? Where is the little bugger? Oh, this is a big one. You don't need a big one like this, all right? Shimano, this stuff, hydraulic mineral oil. All right, if you've got machine oil, sewing machine oil, something like that, that should be fine. But it's got to be the proper stuff, all right? Not brake fluid, because if you do that, what it does do, it mixes in with the hydraulic oil, and what I found, it got a little cloudy type, gunky, snotty crap inside your, inside the tubes, and it blocks it up, and then you have to replace the whole thing, and you know you're spending a lot of money to replace it all, feed it all through, or if you're going to get a technician to do it, it's a few dollars, and you need to replace the whole lot all the way up, including often the brake lever. So don't do that. Don't use brake like in cars. You don't use brake fluid, you use hydraulic oil, and you go to a bicycle shop, and that's where you buy it from. Okay, it's the same stuff they use on bicycles. All right. So this was just a quick video on about this particular scooter and how frustrating it is in the design on a modern style scooter that had years to work out how to make things serviceable. In this case, not so. But that's the way it is. If one was given to me, I'd accept it. If you'd given it to me at a super cheap price, I might take it. But my particular favourite scooter, and I've said this before, is the which one is it? In the Apollo range, it's the Ghost, okay, or if you're in Australia, the E-Glide Mach 10, and there's a few others out there. And that particular scooter is the TDM-10. That's T for Tango, D for Delta, M for Mike -10, and those are the brands that I mentioned are just rebranded TDMs. Okay, but it is, to me, the newer versions that Apollo have got this kind of clamp. The older version's got the the little side clamps in there, which is shite. The new one is a better design, but it's from what I can gather, it's a totally different knuckle. I call it a knuckle. The hinge piece there is different from the old school, so you may not be able to change it out unless you change the whole thing. But anyway, apart from that, yes, it is my favourite. I've got two of them. Actually, I might have three of them, but anyway, and I prefer it. I do have carbos. I've got all sorts of scooters, but yeah, split rim is the way to go, without any doubt. And if you can get the newer version with this style of clamp, you'll be laughing forevermore. Okay, bye for now.